What's up, everybody? Ron Harris here, MD Online Editor, and this is some news I never wanted to break, but I've known for a long time eventually this was going to be news, this was going to happen. Bostin Loyd yesterday, age 28, announced on his Instagram, Team 3CC Boston. That's Boston with an I, not O, like Boston, Massachusetts, where I live, the greatest city in the world. He announced that he is in stage 5 kidney failure. He found that out in late October of 2020. So there are only 5 stages. That's the final stage where you need dialysis, you need a transplant. He broke the full story on a gentleman, his YouTube channel. His name is Leo. His channel is called Leo and Longevity. What's up, Leo? He has the Non-Fraudulent Bodybuilding podcast. And, going back to Boston's posts, he did quote, I'm going to quote him, he said, "I did this to myself with an idiotic experiment and it all caught up to me." I knew it would catch up to him. I know Boston, not very well. He lives in Florida and everything, but I've met him a few times. We've talked many times. I like Boston. He's a good kid. He's grown and changed and matured a lot, especially since him and his girlfriend Ariella had a baby. I want to say it's been 2 years now, maybe 3 years. I might be way off. It might be even longer than that. So, of course, I had to watch the podcast to listen to why he thought it happened to him. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nephrologist by any means. I'm not an expert. So he really feels that most of this kidney damage was done just last fall in 30 days. Despite all this, he's known he did an experiment with 13 grams of gear a week. He's known to shoot up his own brand of site enhancement oil that he sells, Team 3CCC. But he believes most of the damage was done by a particular peptide. It's an injectable fat-burning peptide called FTTP. Goes by the trade name adipotide. Why was he using this? He wasn't getting ready for a show or anything. Like, he admits it. He likes to experiment on himself. He likes to try as many different drugs as possible in high amounts just to see what happens. And, I don't even know where to begin with that. So he didn't know how much to use, so he was using a full bottle a day. He contacted a peptide expert who told him there is no dosing protocol for this. They have no idea how much to use, what's safe, they have no idea. He was using a full bottle every day for 30 days. It's 5 milligrams. He did look into it a little bit and found out that there were experiments done on mice and monkeys, and they all experienced acute kidney failure from this drug. But most of them did recover, so he felt he'd be okay. He also felt monkeys and mice have much weaker kidneys than human beings, so he'd be okay. So during this 30-day period of experimenting with this FTTP peptide, he said he was throwing up about every third day, and then toward the end, there was one day he threw up about 30 or 40 times. That's when he started to think something might be wrong. I'm going to get to all your questions, guys, at the end, all your comments and questions. I'm just going to get through this part. He's not okay. So as sort of evidence, his own, what convinced him it was this final drug that did the most damage, he said he had blood work done before this, and his creatinine level was 2.0 before. Creatinine is something in your liver. I'm not an expert, man. Don't ask me about blood work. His creatinine went up to 6.1 after this. He didn't say what his GRF was, which is kidney function value in your blood work. But when he had it tested after this 30-day period, it was 12, which means he was only at 12% kidney function. And I just checked. I just had blood work 2 weeks ago myself, and I was curious to know what my numbers were on those two things. So my creatinine was 1.07, which was normal. You can have anywhere between 0.7 and 1.33 to be normal. And my GFR, my kidney function, was 93. So my kidneys are okay. And I've been doing steroids a very long time, guys. Almost as long as Boston's been alive, come to think of it. Maybe even, wait a minute, longer? If I started when I was 28 and I'm 51, do the math. It's been a long time. So, I have to give credit to Leo and his channel, Leo and Longevity. They went really hard on a couple guys in that Fuad. For some reason, they don't like Fuad. Ben Pakulski they don't like. They even made a claim that Ben Pakulski quit bodybuilding because he went into kidney failure and didn't want anyone to know that. Whereas Bostin is very transparent. That's one thing I'll give credit to Bostin for. He's always been very honest. Whatever else you can say about Bostin, you can say a lot of things. He's reckless. He's foolish, dumb in the way he approached his whole drug experiment thing. But he's always been honest. He's always told people exactly what he was doing, the effects it had on him. And I'm not doing this. I'm not gloating. I don't have any Schadenfreude, as you Germans would say. I'm not happy about this at all. I like Bostin. I'm a father. I sympathize with his dad, John Loyd. John was an outstanding heavyweight bodybuilder. Would have been a super heavy, but there were no super heavies back then. His dad, John, is a few years older than me. I think he's in his 60s. But I met John with Bostin and Ariella at the New England Championships. This is probably about 4 or 5 years ago. Bostin was supposed to compete in that New England. He prepped for it and everything, but a week or two before, he got a really nasty infection from site injecting his arm, where the whole arm turned green and purple. It was all blotched. It looked like, some alien on Star Trek would have like green and purple blotched skin. That's what it looked like. And he didn't want to go to the hospital. And he's there in Boston, Owen, and his dad was begging him. And they ended up going, after they watched the judging, they went off to Mass General a few miles away and got it checked out, got him on antibiotics. But Bostin Loyd has never liked going to the doctor. A lot of guys don't. But I have a daughter who's going to be 27 in a couple months. So Bostin he's young enough to be my son. So it's not like I feel like I'm his dad or anything, but I don't wish death and ill upon anybody. Kidney failure. No, I don't. No. And I don't hate Bostin at all. I like Bostin. I really get along well with him. He mentioned on that podcast that I had reached out to him for an interview and he refused. He didn't want to talk about this with me because he doesn't like muscular development. Because about 3 years ago or so, I wanted him to have a show. I thought he'd be a good addition to our channel and have some good content. And he made a great show, but he said a lot of things that could be considered slanderous. And MD, or Advanced Research Media, would have been accountable, would have been liable for a slander lawsuit. So it had to be deleted. It's unfortunate, but you can't just say anything you want in videos about people. You just can't. You can't. Sometimes even if it's true, you can't say it because, anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, he didn't want to do it with me. He's supposedly exclusively only going to be talking about his kidney issues and his fight to get healthy again on that channel. He did mention that he's looking into getting something. He's going to do dialysis, but he wants to get a machine to do it at home. You have to take a course to be able to do it yourself at home. Something called nocturnal at-home dialysis, where you can have it done while you're asleep. Dialysis. I know from talking to Flex Wheeler, it sucks. Dialysis sucks. It's you're hooked up to this machine for like 6 hours, and you just feel like dog shit. It's he says he wouldn't wish this on his worst enemy, and I don't think he would. But heart disease, heart attacks are one thing that gets a lot of bodybuilders from drug abuse, and kidney disease, man. Kidney disease has claimed a lot of us. We've had some survivors. Flex Wheeler was lucky enough to get not one, but 2 different kidney transplants. Don Long, another great IFBB pro, had a kidney transplant. Fakhri Mubarak, coach and pro bodybuilder, currently recovering on his own. I don't know if he's in dialysis or not. He was in kidney failure. The late Derek Anthony, he died of kidney failure. One thing I didn't realize till a couple years ago was that if you have high blood pressure and it's not treated, which I think Bostin did admit to, he had high blood pressure for years from all the gear and wasn't taking anything to lower his blood pressure. It damages the kidneys severely. And, over time, you could end up in kidney failure like this. Boston's young. He's looking into all his options for treatments, therapies, supplements, drugs, anything that can help him. So I am confident he's going to get through this. I only hope that he won't go back on a bunch of drugs after that. Once he starts feeling better, go back on a bunch of steroids. And, this happened to Marius Doan, a pro from South Africa a couple of years ago, where I believe he went into kidney failure, got better, went back on the gear and got big again and went into kidney failure again. And now he's all done. I'm going to get to your questions now, guys. I'm going to try anyway. So let's hit F5 on that. Okay. So let's see what you guys had to say. What's this? Ad 1 of 2. I don't want to see any ads on my own video. Okay. So here we go, guys. I'm going to take all your questions now and comments and read them. And not a shocker. Yeah, get well soon. I agree. Message deleted. Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't good. Sure it was. Yeah, guys, be respectful. You know, Bostin did bring this on himself, and he knows that. He freely admits it. And, you know, he's... The whole thing... Sorry, I'll get to your question in a second. The whole issue I had with Bostin was that even though he wasn't telling other young people to go and do what he was doing, they saw his results. They saw how quickly he would transform, because he would do these transformations. I'm going to do air quotes, transformations. What he would do is he'd get big and jacked and lean on a bunch of drugs. Then he would stop everything, stop the drugs, stop training, eat a bunch of junk food, intentionally look as crappy as he could. He would lose a bunch of muscle, gain a bunch of fat. Then he would say, that's my before. And then he's like, okay, guys, here's my transformation. And I don't know, 60, 90 days. I don't know if he had a given time period. He would go back on the drugs, eat clean, train, and he'd look awesome again. And people were like, dude, whatever you're doing, I got to do. You know, little did they know. He looked really good, but then he intentionally would make himself look like shit and just repeat this process over and over. And people got, you know, very, very sold on his methods because clearly they were working. Look at him. But, you know, he had a lot of young fans. I'm sure he still does. A lot of young guys looked up to him because he was open and honest about what he did. He was using himself as an experiment, which they felt he was sort of doing that for them. Like they could reap the rewards of whatever he was learning about the drug use and apply these lessons to their own drug regimens and so on, and get big and ripped and whatever. But a lot of young guys saw what he was doing, they imitated it, and they went and used tons and tons of gear and everything. IGF-1, insulin, peptides. I don't even know all the stuff he was using. All right, let me get to your question now. He would take exceptional doses without doing blood work. I don't know if that's true or not. I think he was getting blood work, but I don't know if he was. Boston's younger than me. Yeah, I mean, I believe he just turned 28. I think he was 27 when he got the diagnosis back in October. Bostin broke the news. Yeah, I said that originally, that I'm not breaking the news. I didn't claim to break the news. The realest man in the industry. Yeah, very honest. That's the one thing I'll give him credit for. He never lies. He's honest to a fault, Bostin, and I give him a lot of credit for that. There's not a lot of people that can say that. Does anyone believe it's coincidence? No. It's the red loop. Don Sanders, supercharging your body never leads to good. Have fun now, pay later doesn't cut it. Yeah, you know, you can be like a shooting star with you can take a ton of gear and get results very, very fast, but you're going to crash and crash hard. You're not going to last. Like I said, I hate to use myself as an example because I'm not I don't claim to be a great bodybuilder, never even turned pro, but my blood work, my physicals, I get checked up all the time, and I've been on gear since late 1996, guys. It's a long time, and I'm still doing great. I feel fine. I'm not 300 pounds ripped, no, but you know, I still look better than most people in the gym. I certainly look much, much better than most people my age, 51, for God's sake. Sorry, it's not about me. It's about Bostin. He said it's because of some peptide overdose. Yeah, I went over that. FTTP. Is it really true? Yes, he said it. It's true. At least we can learn from what he did. I mean, where's the lesson there? Don't do that. It's too late. Too many people already did it. And the whole thing about being young, and trust me, I was young once. All of you who are young, you're either going to die young or you're going to live to be as old as me. So save your comments about how I'm an old fart, old cranky bastard, whatever. When you're young, you just feel invincible. You think nothing can hurt you. You will live forever. You feel like you're bulletproof. That's why you see all these stunts, like people jumping off buildings into a pool. It's all young people. You know, why do you think armies since the beginning of time have recruited very young guys? Because they're not afraid. They have no fear of death. They don't think it's possible that they can die. They'll run right into a hail of bullets because nothing can happen to me. I'm young. I'll live forever. Let's see. At least we can learn. Just go to the doctor. He has a wife and kids. Yeah, I don't. Is he married? I'm not sure they're married. Doesn't matter. I'm not the moral police here. Stage 5 is rare to live from. He did this for us guys. The forum Get Big used to have this phrase that they said over and over again. Anytime a bodybuilder would die or almost die, they would say he died for you bitches, or he almost died for you bitches. But where's the lesson? You guys aren't gonna learn. I mean, you'll just think it's not gonna happen to you. You'll do exactly what he did. Although I hope he doesn't. I hope you don't use this FTTP. This sounds like bad news. I thought DNP was the worst thing out there. This FTTP crap. This sounds worse, way worse. You're in stage 3. My sugar daddy is controlling me. Well, I'm sorry about your sugar daddy, but stage 3. It's a lot better than stage 5, I guess. I think you could bounce back from that. Does he have a donor or want to pay one? Kiss Rocks. Yeah, this is actually. Sorry, this is a Kiss tribute band. I don't know what happened to him. The bass player Ara, who was Paul Stanley in the band, he used to go to my gym. He's a strong dude, really jacked, and I haven't seen him since the gym opened up after quarantine. Must train at home or somewhere else. Tom Prince can tell you that's another guy that. Tom Prince went into kidney failure, and he's alive and well. He's a realtor. He's about Tom was one of the biggest dudes I ever saw. He walked around at like 5'8", 300 pounds off season, pretty lean. He's probably about 140 pounds now. Doesn't train. You know, he's healthy. He's alive. He's a realtor. He's doing well. But kidney failure knocked Tom Prince out. He was great. Tom would have been one of the top guys of the Arnold Olympia, no doubt in my mind. He didn't compete for very long, but he was good, man. Still to this day, some of the best hamstrings I've ever seen. Kiss Rocks, Tom Prince can tell you. James says the blood pressure pushes protein hard through the kidney holes, making them bigger and leading to kidney failure. If that's true, that's a very simplified explanation, so thanks. Because, like I said, I'm not the brightest bulb when it comes to this stuff. Destroyer TV, maybe he'll learn from this. It's quite the eye-opener. I hope he learns. I hope he doesn't get better and then decide, well, I'm going to go back on a bunch of crap. You know, he proved his point. He was a big dude. You know, he was like 270, something like that. Not bad condition. I never cared for his physique because it was very obvious to me he had a lot of site enhancement oil in his shoulders and his arms, and it made his chest look really small and flat in comparison. His legs never matched. It's because he made his shoulders and arms too big with the oil. But I hope he learns from this too. I mean, he's got his whole life ahead of him, and more importantly, you know, any of you who are parents out there, you know what, your life isn't yours anymore. Your job is to take care of that child and protect that child till they're an adult. So he needs to be there for that. It's a son. He has a son. He needs to be alive and take care of that boy and be a good example for that boy. Fruit and vegetable, low protein. Yeah, when you're in kidney failure, I think you have to have very, very low protein. They want you to lose a lot of body weight to be more healthier. I think fruits. Another message deleted. What do you guys say? You guys must make some horrible problem. When am I having Kevin on again? Kevin, if you hear me, I've been texting him. I've been calling. Kevin, come back. Kevin, hit me back. I haven't been able to get it. I want to get Kevin back on very, very soon. I like Bostin, but the protein diet isn't healthy. Sorry, but not surprised. We heard that again. Simon, you got a timeout. I don't know what the hell you were talking about. He needs to blast BP medications and Tribulus every day to survive. On the first, that video I just said, he did outline an entire regimen that he's already on. So he's definitely being proactive and doing everything that he can to get healthy, to restore his kidney function. He's going to have to go on dialysis. You know, if that's not successful, he's going to have to get a transplant. Again, I'm not a nephrologist. I'm not a doctor. These are just random things I happen to know. My English is so damn fluent. Are you talking to somebody else? I mean, I'm born in the U.S. I would hope I speak. Hope he changes his whole life. Garner Tribulus needs to constantly be monitoring his blood pressure. Yeah. Tribulus is great for kidney health. Asian Khan, you got deleted. His BP, his blood pressure was 190 over 120. Yeah, high blood pressure, untreated high blood pressure is murder on the kidneys. Like I said, I never even knew that until a couple years ago. That's how medically dopey I am. Okay, Gregory Elise, pro from Canada. What's up, Gregory? Very bright guy. I like Greg a lot. He says, what's up? It's very sad because he's so young, but he was reckless. He's a dad now. I just hope he helps others not to do what he did. I hope Bostin comes out and warns other young guys, don't do what I did. This is what I did, and this is what happened to me. You know, not just this is what I did. Look how jacked I was. Because on the outside, people were like, oh my God, he looks like he should be Mr. Olympia. Because a lot of these kids out there that follow YouTubers and whatever. Boston's not a YouTuber. They have no concept. If they see a big dude, they just assume Boston and Big Ramy are the same. They're on the same level. Whatever. Anyway, good. Going off on. What's up? So, Maritime T says Tom Prince can give a good insight. He's on dialysis. Yeah, I mentioned Tom Prince, who like I said, Tom was one of the best. He could have been, if Tom's kidneys hadn't failed, I don't know if he would have been Mr. Olympia. He definitely would have been one of the top 3 guys at the Olympian Arnold for a very long time. He was great, thick, great shape, got in great condition. White mice. Yeah. Travis Smith said, Boston did what he did to help us all learn. Do not disrespect this man. Go back and watch the video. I've done nothing to disrespect him. I know him. He's a dad and husband. I've addressed that. I wish him nothing but the best. This is not a video to say, I told you so, or I hope he, I don't wish harm on Boston. Believe me. I don't wish harm on anybody, but Boston's a good kid. I like Boston a lot. So, all you Boston fans, relax. I'm not coming down on him. I just had to report on it. Says, actually, it's been a long time that he stopped using gears and got married and had kids. No, he said he was on gear. Go watch this video. He says he's been on gear. PC says, I remember always seeing Boston in the gym here in Rhode Island. Yeah, because Ariel was from Rhode Island, and he used to come up and visit Ariel. The last time he was up, before they moved to Florida, he came up to my gym, Bayshore Athletic Club in Braintree, Mass, and I put him through a really good chest workout. It was a fun time. Like I said, I like Boston. Don't think I'm doing this because I don't like Boston, guys. Please. Love you, Ron. I'm 48. Thanks, Dan. A dad, yeah, he's a dad. I want to say his son is probably 3 or 4 by now. I know I should know these things, right? Fodil Laudi says, but if he came back to take those insane doses, well, it's sad. Yeah, I hope he doesn't. But, steroids are psychologically addictive. Once you have that much mass, once you're that big, the only thing that would stop a lot of people is a very serious health problem. And some people, that's not even going to stop them. They'll keep going and going because they don't want to live if they can't be huge. They'd rather be huge and take their chances, even knowing that they're probably going to die very soon doing what they're doing, than stop all the drugs, lose a lot of muscle, and live another 20, 30, 50 years. It doesn't make sense, but this isn't logic, guys. This is a lot of emotion. It's insecurity. It's a lot of things many of us in the bodybuilding world deal with inside our heads. Overdose of anything is bad. I agree. Steroids and all these drugs, there's no safe way to use them, but you can be safer. You can approach it in a safer way. You can be moderate in your approach. You take time off. You get blood work done. You get heart scans. You get all that done to see what's going on. And if you find out your kidney function or your heart function or your liver function is really bad, you address it. But if you're reckless and you just want to take a bunch of drugs and never see a doctor, you're basically signing your own death warrant, guys. You're committing suicide. So this guy says, dude, he is a POS, piece of S, for being a dad and doing what he's done. Yeah, I just said that. When you're a dad, you can't put yourself first. You always have to think of those children first. It's just the reality of that's what being a good parent is. I think from what I've seen in the videos, he seems to be a really good dad. But, he needs to be there for his child. He needs to get healthy and be alive for his boy. Because, I lost my dad when I was 16. I know I say this all the time. I'm not trying to get sympathy, guys. I'm over it. But, growing up without a dad, it sucks. It sucks because, you want your dad to be there. My dad wasn't at my high school graduation. He didn't get to see me go to college. He never saw me get married. Never saw his grandchildren. Never saw my kids. And, you want your father to be proud of you and to see all these things. You want your dad to see you become a man. And Boston's son, I hope Boston's son gets to have Boston be there for all those landmarks and more. I really do. Another message deleted. What are you guys saying? Jeez. Michael Edwards, mid-30s, you start to feel it. You were reckless in your 20s, yeah. Dr. O'Connor says this all the time. Thomas O'Connor, the anabolic doc, is you can get away with a lot in your 20s. Your body is very, very resilient. You could abuse recreational drugs, alcohol, steroids, all kinds of things, and you'll probably be okay. It usually catches up to people later on. It takes time. It's one of those things. So just because you're getting away with it in your 20s, saying, I can drink a quart of vodka every night, I can smoke 2 packs of cigarettes, I can shoot 5 grams of gear, and I'm fine. You're fine now. You're not going to be fine forever. Johnny says, when Bostin first started making videos and got social media fame, people would tell him what would happen. Before him, there was Derek Anthony. Derek, I didn't know Derek well. I didn't like Derek because he threatened me, really nasty threats, disgusting things he was going to do to my family. He was going to have us murdered. I don't know. No, it's just the internet. No, it's not just the internet. You can't just say these things to people. But Derek was in kidney failure, and I called him out on it. This is what led to all those threats near the end of his life. He only lived like another 6 weeks after we had this little beef. I said, this guy is still shooting a bunch of synthol because it was obvious. His arms, his shoulders, I think he was putting his chest. He was in kidney failure, and he was still shooting a ton of synthol. And I don't know that there's a direct link between synthol and kidney failure, but a lot of people have speculated there is. Anyway, he died shortly after that, so because he wouldn't stop. When Boss first started making videos, yeah, just said that. Full deal Loyd, he was overdoing it. He knew it. He tried crazy doses. Even Lee Priest mentioned about the doses. I remember he said himself was never at half what he was taking. Didn't Flex have kidney failure? Yeah, Flex Wheeler is probably the most prominent example in our industry because he was the most famous. He's a Hall of Famer. He was Arnold Classic champ 5 times. 4 times? He went into kidney failure. He said he had FSGS, kidney disease, and he had not 1 but 2 kidney transplants. He's doing okay, but eventually that even led to complications where he had to have his foot amputated last year. So, or was it end of 2019? Sorry, we're in 2021 now. Anything else? That's been deleted. Bostin was idolizing Rich Piana. A lot of people idolize Rich Piana. A lot of people idolize, just like a lot of you out there, you idolize Dr. Tony Huge because you see somebody who's living this lifestyle of freedom and hedonism, does whatever he wants, takes all these drugs, trains, is jacked, has fancy, cool cars, has all these hot, half-naked girls around all the time. It's very enticing, and you want to, not me, but I'm saying you want to be like that guy. So it's an impressionable young person sees that lifestyle, and they want to do whatever that guy's doing. So, Piana had millions and millions of fans, still does, more than 3 years after his death. Pro bodybuilding is the only sport you have to pay to compete in, not the other way around. Yeah, now we're getting into money. Yeah, there's not a lot of money. If you're getting into bodybuilding to get rich, guys, no, bad idea. Go to school, get a career. Don't look. There's not many bodybuilders making a ton of money, guys. Trust me. Must have been in some death pools, I'm sure, if there were some, based on what he was doing. Minimum for the NFL, yeah. Bodybuilding doesn't pay well. We've been through this. Just Rich was trying everything, but he went to the extreme a bit. Yeah. DC Heavenly Bodies Cummings. What are your thoughts on sub-Q administration? No, we're not doing steroid Q&A right now, guys. Sorry. And this guy wants steroid 2RT. Yeah. For questions about steroids and stuff, guys, on this channel, I do a weekly show with Dr. George Touliatos in Athens, Greece called Ask Dr. Testosterone. Put your questions in the comments there. We answer questions. It was every week, but now we're doing a guest every other week. We have a new show up right now with Milos Sarshev. We talked for over an hour. Great show. He was an excellent guest. I love talking to Milos. But that's weird. Do I think he tried to grow too quick? Ashley Allen Hartman. Do I think he tried to grow too quick, too fast? Is this an issue present in the younger generation now? Absolutely. This is a generation that wants everything now, and it's not their fault. That's how society is now. Everything is instantaneous. I grew up in a different era. I'm 51. When I was a kid, there was no email. You wanted to have a mail conversation. It would take you years to write letters back and forth to someone to have a conversation that you could have in 20 minutes on instant messenger or email or whatever, text messaging. We didn't have movie downloads, streaming. We didn't have cell phones. You had to go to a payphone to call somebody if you're out. So you know, the people now, the people that grew up in this era, patience is not something they were ever taught. They were shown, they grew up with things that were rapidly moving, rapidly available. So if I talk to someone of a younger age and they ask me how long is it going to take to get a bodybuilder, a pro bodybuilder type of physique, that much mass, I'll tell them it's going to take you about 10 years. They're like, no, 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 I want to be 8 in 1 year. And it's, if someone comes along and tells them, take all these drugs and these high doses and you can get 20 years of results in like 3 months, they'll be like, okay, without even thinking, that doesn't sound safe. All they're hearing is 20 years of results in 3 months. Or I'm exaggerating, but you get the idea. Where is Boston? Or just clickbait? Boston is in Florida. It's not clickbait. You can go. I said at the beginning of the video, because I'm giving them credit, it's Leo and Longevity is his channel. He has a channel, and it's a video series called Non-Fraudulent Bodybuilding Podcast. And he and Boston just put one out, I think early this morning. What clinic? Mark Felix. His site looked like underground years back when I looked. Now you're talking about Rami? No. He had no reason for running all that gear. He wasn't even a pro. Even if he was a pro, no, there's dose and there's overdose. You know, he was running. He even admits it. There was no need to run as much, to use as much as he was using. He did it just because he could. Because, you know, he told me people were sending him drugs, sending him free drugs, tons and tons. And I think he was giving a lot of it away because he couldn't possibly use it all. But I think he's at one point a few years ago, he decided to see what would happen if I took, you know, he was doing 25 cc's or 25. He was doing 13 grams of gear a week, injectable gear. I think it was all injectable. He needs to find a kidney donor from South America. What? I don't know about that. I don't know if he needs it. Could you clarify what happens? I did. No amount of PEDs can replace incredible work ethic and great genetics. Yeah, I say that all the time. The best bodybuilders are the ones with the best genes. You know, they say hard work beats genetics. No, not when genetics works hard. And these people at the top in bodybuilding, they're all genetic freaks who work hard. So unless you're a genetic freak, you ain't beating them. Sorry, it doesn't matter how hard you train, how many drugs you use, you ain't beating those people. They have better genetics than you. Just like you're never going to be, you can't make yourself go from 5'8" to 6'4" with any drugs. You're not going to give yourself the genetics of a Phil Heath or a Big Ramy. Doesn't matter how many drugs you use. You're never going to look like those guys. So Johnny says, let's not forget Flex Wheeler got a new kidney, then decided to get back on juice to compete. LMAO. Well, it's not funny. I don't know why you're doing LMAO, but supposedly Flex, when he came back a few years ago to do Classic, he was not on gear. I don't know for sure whether he was or wasn't, but he said he wasn't. Facts, all the best for Boston, yeah. Pro here we go, rank knocking on bodybuilding game. Marius Stone won Tampa Pro in 2011 had kidney failure, and with a miracle he survived. Yeah, Marius looked really good, but kidney failure. High blood pressure is a silent killer, J. Aaron. Absolutely. I think a lot of people, either they don't know that they're, my blood pressure's fine, by the way. I have it checked multiple times a year. It's never been high. I think it's probably been high a couple times when I was running a lot of orals like Anadrol or something, and I was really puffy and red. But Lee Haney nailed it, quality, not quantity. Was he getting labs done on a regular basis? I'm not sure. Yeah, Boston says the adipopide. I don't even know how you say this. I don't know if you're spelling it right. Unless your top pro PD is a short-term solution for long-term problem. I don't agree with that. I think you don't have to be a pro to use PEDs. I think anybody can use them if they're smart, if they do their research, if they use them in moderation. You don't need high doses. You take time off. You don't stay on them all the time. And you get regular checkups, blood work, heart scans, all that stuff. You need to, if you're using drugs, you need to pay special attention to what's going on in your body. You need to pay way more attention to your health than somebody else your age would. Even though, you're saying, well, I lift weights, I eat clean, I do this and that. You could look great on the inside and be a wreck inside. We've seen it with a lot of bodybuilders. Boston Loyd is and was a loose cannon when taking gear. Yeah, he would only get bloods done 2 times a year. Yeah. Low dose sus over long period. Sorry for your loss. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm on I'm on 400 milligrams of test a week all the time. And probably about 3 times a year, I bump that up to 600 a week. And I'll add in something like Tren or Equipoise or Deca, add about 300 or 400 milligrams a week. But I pay very close attention to my health, my blood pressure, all that. And I'm not saying this is what you should do. This is what I've done. And I'm 51 years old. My kids are grown. I don't plan on dying anytime soon, but I'm saying I did get to see my kids grow up, 21 and almost 27 years old. Is he in his 20s? He's only 27. I think he said 27, 28, that it all caught up to him. So I believe he's already turned 28. I think it was fairly recent. Andy C. Ron, I lost my dad too. He's only 48. One cool thing was he left a letter for me the day I got married. I fantasized about a relationship he would have had with my daughter. Yeah. Yeah, you lose a parent, man. I say I got over it. I didn't get over it. I think about my dad every day, and I wish he was around. And, I think I try to compensate by doing a lot more with my son than my dad could have done with me because he worked full time. He was a mail carrier, and he drove a cab when he wasn't doing that. He was a hard worker. So I didn't see a lot of my dad. He was always working. I work at home, so my son sees a lot more of me. What else we got? Stephen Kane, yeah, he recently claimed his blood pressure was 200 something. Said he was on a ton of gear still after taking somewhat of a break nonetheless. Yeah. Remain natural and your body will thank you. Warrior Fitness. I agree. If you're into this for health, if health is your number one priority, never take a steroid. Maybe if you're 40, 50 years old and you need TRT, but if you really want to be super healthy, geez, you wouldn't eat the way bodybuilders eat. It's not healthy to eat all that food, that volume of food. You'd live longer if you ate less food, weight trained, did a lot of cardio. You'd probably be a vegan, you probably live longer. I don't know. Bostin isn't dying, guys. No, I didn't say he was. I don't want him to die. Come on. Flex Will had pre-existing condition. Yeah, he talked about the FSGS. Mock XP Gamer. Even if you don't do roids, it doesn't matter. Everyone should use now we're talking about Tribulus to protect the kidneys. Is it safe to do my first cycle at the age of 20? Yeah, I mean, you'll be fine. 500 milligrams of test. I'm not saying it's safe. People react differently to drugs, just like recreational drugs. Some people can take hard drugs like heroin for years and years, like my late sister did. Other people, they die very quickly. We're not all the same. We have different genetics for how we respond to things. Some people will be able to get away with using steroids for many, many years with no really adverse effects or minimal. Others, they're going to go into kidney failure. They'll have heart failure. I mean, it's luck of the draw, and you don't know where you fit into that spectrum until you do it. Last I saw, Boston was hanging with Dr. Tony Hughes. Yeah, that's not a surprise. It's never safe, bro. Yeah, I agree. It's not safe. It's never safe to use PEDs. If you want to be safe, don't use them. There are safer ways to use them by being smart, moderate, and keeping a really, really good eye on your health, being on top of that all the time. Dave, I assume you mean Palumbo, told him 10 years ago straight up his kidneys would never hold up. If he was older, it might not last long for him. Yeah, everybody was telling Bostin, I don't know if it was 10, it wasn't 10 years ago. If he's only just turned 28, he wasn't 18 when he hit the scene. I think he was like 22, 23. But everyone was saying this kid's gonna be in for it's not gonna end well for him. As Stephen Kane, as a father myself, I also grew up without a dad, but he was alive, just wasn't there. So for Bostin, I pray he smartens up and is there for his kid. So much more important than bodybuilding. Absolutely, absolutely. Family is everything. You don't realize that until you're older. But really, man, think about it on your deathbed. However, hopefully that'll be when you're a very, very old person. But what's going to matter at that point is it you want to die alone with like a Lamborghini in the driveway and like 10 million followers, or do you want to die with a loving family around you? You don't want to die. Joseph says, Jerry, if you do get bloods done prior to first cycle, start lower than 500. 400 is good. Get bloods done once off, stay off from orals, and keep the basics. Good advice, Joseph. I always tell people start low. I think 400 is a good place to start. 400, 500 max. I hear people saying they start their first cycle as like a gram of test and a gram of deck. And I'm like, geez, why would you start that high? Because you're going to need more and more over time to get those results. So where do you go from there? Doop, doop, doop. You're going to be doing grams and grams and grams. Great video. Says that's why all these female bodybuilders have fans only. It's actually OnlyFans page to make a living and train, eat, and sleep. It's not just bodybuilder women. It's women around the world in 2020. I think OnlyFans had something, I don't know, many millions of new accounts because women figured they realized I could just sell naked pictures even if I'm not that good looking. And guys were buying. Guys, you're still buying them, you morons. There's women out there that you wouldn't give $1 to at a strip bar, but you're giving them $20 a month to look at nudes. Anyway. Other topic. Ron, please note as a warning, F. Bouillet. Sorry if I'm messing up your name. I didn't take French. Ron, please note as a warning for the people listening that adipotide might have caused this acute. Yeah, he said this FTTP peptide. He believes that was what really did him in with the kidneys. It sounds horrible. This drug, this peptide sounds horrible. FTTP, horribly dangerous. Start over. What happened to Hostin? I don't even know what that is. Sorry. I'm not as YouTube savvy as I should be. Do I think Flex amputation was due to synthol use in his calves? No. 300 is what I would say too. Okay, 300 milligrams a week. Can you talk about why Boston's podcast got taken down from MD? I did. He said things that were potentially libelous or slanderous. I'm not sure in a video format which of those terms would apply, but there were things in there that we could have gotten sued over, so we had to take it down. You can't just say whatever you want. You can't. People will sue. People sue you over defamation of character, things like that, slander. You can't do that. People say you should wait until you're at least 24, 25. I believe you should wait until you're like mid-20s to do gear. That's me. I waited till I was 27. People, like I said, you'll do what you want to do. If you're over 18, legally you're an adult. Do whatever the hell you want. Mark, anything else? They want the same as genetically gifted people. Depends on your goals. I talked to you in Jason DZL. I talked to you in Titus the 04 NOC. Damn, the good old days, yeah. Good old days. Jerry Russell is 500 milligrams of test, even that much gear. It's all relative. For a beginner, it's plenty. For somebody that's been using gear for many years, or for a top amateur or pro bodybuilder, it's like nothing. Just not a problem when they add different stuff to get a problem. Is Bostin coming on this show? If not, change the clickbait title. I never said I said Bostin Loyd kidney failure. I didn't say Bostin is going to be on the show. No, I'm not changing the title. Sorry. You don't like it? Too bad. It's a solid amount. Recap for 1 minute. No, it wasn't the drugs. It was a peptide. He claims it's the peptide that did this, but if you really think all the gear that he did all these years and the synthol had nothing to do with it, I don't buy that. I think they all played a role, and I think this peptide was like the last straw. That's my opinion. I'm not a doctor. The people in poor health, it's not funny. I never said it was funny. Where am I from? Amiritz, Boston, Massachusetts. Boston's blood pressure was 200. Somebody said for a long time it wasn't just a peptide. Yeah. If your blood pressure was high, which his blood pressure was high, that damages the kidneys. You can Google it for the actual medical reason. I don't know why that is, but it stresses the kidneys over time. The longer you have untreated high blood pressure, the more damage you do to your kidneys, and eventually kidney failure results. Regardless, gaining 30 pounds in 8 weeks will increase that blood pressure. Watching puffy guys turning purple on their warm-up sets is scary. Yeah, I agree. JR, remember blood work is good at that point. Do I go through clinic? What clinic? No, I don't go through a clinic. Sorry. There's plenty of clinics out there, guys. Look up TRT clinic or anti-aging clinic. You'll get like 1,000 results pop up. You don't need me to point you in that direction. Guy says, Mock XP Gamer, of course it's not only because of peptide. The years of blasting different type of gear and high doses added to it. Last but not least, the high blood pressure too. Yeah, I agree. Hey guys, Venus Greg Valentino, recent gains in size? No, sorry. Greg looks great for his age. Greg's like, is he like 60 now, I think? JR, this is what happened to me. Highest for my enzymes. Just lost my father. I'm sorry to hear that, Jay. 2 months to the day. Yeah, that's a fresh wound. My dad died in May of 1986. That's how long ago it was. 1986. That 36, almost 37 years ago. A guy who says he never used oil. You look in your 30s, Ron. Thank you. Storyteller. Yeah, Greg's a great storyteller. Boston was born into bodybuilding. His mother was a bodybuilder. Yeah. Probably felt normal for him to start using gear at a young age. His mother was probably encouraging it. No. He started at 16 secretly, and his parents were furious at him. He's talked about that before. They were furious. And I believe his mother was natural. I don't think his mother used gear in the year she competed when she was younger. Looked phenomenal. She had great genetics. His dad, John, was outstanding. He couldn't turn pro. He took second to Gary Stridham. He was competing at a time when it was so hard to turn pro. They were giving out a couple pro cards a year. Total. There were people back then that couldn't turn pro that make some of these people now that are pros, that are turning pro, look like they don't even lift. I'm not even kidding you. So his dad, John, great bodybuilder. His mom, can't remember her name. His mom is like 60. She still looks beautiful woman. Rita? Is it Rita? Ray? I think it's Rita. Or is it Ray? I don't know. Mom looks great. All right, guys. I gotta get done with this pretty soon. $1 million question. No one knows now. Would he still do what he did? He says he has no regrets. They sell kidneys like candy in South America. Just need a bathtub. That's scary. Dialysis is no joke. Family time is everything. When you die, you can't take anything with you. Yeah. You know, they say your health is your wealth, and that's, how true is that, guys? Because you could have all the wealth in the world, but if you're in horrible health and you feel like you're dying and you can't move, and you know what good is all that stuff? What good is money and possessions if you have terrible health and you feel like garbage all the time? People keep saying, man up, you have a child, maybe he's insecure about himself, stop being harsh. Yeah, you know, I came to bodybuilding out of insecurity. I still have insecurity. I think most of us, the only people that I think you could say probably don't have insecurity are the ones that are always muscular, always athletic, captain of the football team. There are some bodybuilders come into the sport of bodybuilding from being outstanding in other sports, and they had the genetics for bodybuilding. It was just a natural progression. Most bodybuilders started bodybuilding out of some type of insecurity. They felt small or weak or intimidated, or they were bullied, or the girls were ignoring them. You know, you could click off like almost all the above for me. So yeah, I don't judge anybody, believe me, because I'm like, I live in a glass house. How can I throw stones? Anything else? Oh man, JR, get to your genetic potential. All right, guys, I've been rambling a long time. So like I said, I'll say it again because I'm not trying to steal this guy's video, Leo and Longevity, his channel. If you want to hear the whole story from Boston, Leo does the non-fraudulent bodybuilding podcast. Boston was a guest on his show, his video, and they went into a little more length about especially the things that Boston is doing now to try to get healthy, the medications that he's using, supplements he's looking into, all types of different treatments he's investigating because he wants to be healthy. He wants to get past this, live a long, healthy life. And, you know, God bless you, Boston. I do wish you the best. You're a good guy. You're a dad. And, you know, I hope you learn from this. I hope a lot of your followers learn from this and that they don't do anything reckless because, you know, our bodies, they're just not, we're not robots, man. If you do enough damage to them, that's it. It's game over. And that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. If you like the videos, please please subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Anyway, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Hanging out with me today. Talk to you all later. Bye-bye.